Please introduce yourself.
My name's Greg, and I'm currently doing the general course, and I'm studying from my home country. So I'm currently in the UK, just outside of London. And so then, because of the time difference, all my classmates are currently living in Tokyo. So I have to wake up at 4 in the morning every day to attend the classes. That would usually be at 1:30 p.m.
And why did you decide to take lessons online?
I think the main reason is that I've been wanting to move to Japan. I wanted to move to Japan straight after university, and that was January 2020 that I graduated, and I wanted to go to Japan in June 2020. That kept getting delayed, and so by January 21, I kind of just wanted to start. I didn't want to keep waiting in my home country because obviously jobs aren't exactly the easiest to get right now. So I was kind of thinking, if I start studying, at least I'm kind of getting on with something. I want to start studying with the plan, and it's the plan of studying online as soon as borders open up, continue studying in class with the same people. And I think so far that plan is still going quite well. So I'm glad I chose that, because I really wanted to just kind of start my studying.
How is your experience with the course? What was the same or different from what you have imagined?
I'm really enjoying it, and I'm glad I am, because it is definitely quite tough waking up at 4 a.m. But I think the worst thing is going to bed early, because the day is over quite quickly. You have so much time in the middle of the day that it actually feels like I have loads of time at the same time. I think online learning is much better than I anticipated. I think it doesn't, actually when I was thinking of learning online while my classmates are in a classroom talking and chatting, I thought that would be kind of really lonely and kind of annoying. But I think the reality of it is that I'm not struggling to kind of form friendships with the people in my class. I feel like I'm messaging them. We're having conversations online outside of our classes and stuff. It's not, I feel like I'm getting along just with them. And I think another nice thing is that because I've already formed these sort of friendships with my classmates, it's kind of one less thing to worry about when I do move to Tokyo, because it means that rather than worry about moving into a new apartment, sorting out residence cards, all the kind of stuff you have to do as a foreigner, and then on top of that, a new school, new people to meet, like that, it kind of, I think, parts up here. So it's quite relieving that I've got a nice basis there. I know people, I know the school, and I think it's all, I'm really happy with the online process so far. Oh, and I think one more thing actually that comes to mind is that I think when I initially applied, there was to Kai language, there was a lot of stuff about the use of technology, and initially I thought, it might be like a couple of apps, like maybe they'll email us like our work and stuff. But I think actually it feels really well integrated. It's not kind of sort of forced in or anything. It actually feels like it goes really well, and like all the different platforms that are used, that it's super easy to put on your iPad. You just log into a profile, it installs it all for you. So I think all the technology stuff really works well, and it makes it quite easy to sort of manage your time. Like I'm never really like, oh, what we had homework today, where was that, where do I fit this? Like, it's always really obvious. I think the biggest things then are online learning is much better than I anticipated, and the technology is very well integrated, and I'm finding it quite easy to get along with my classmates despite only seeing them online and texting them rather than seeing them in person. I think those are the main takeaways from the course for me so far.
What are the challenges of taking the course?
I think, like I briefly mentioned before, I think the hardest thing is probably the mornings. I'm not very bad at getting up in the morning, so I don't really mind it too much. Because, I think the hardest thing in terms of like outside the course or on the actual course contents is stuff like on weekends, because I can't see my friends because of lockdown. If I want to do like like if we're doing Zoom calls in the evening and stuff, I have to go off early because I can't really stay up past 10 or something if I'm waking up at 4 on the weekend, on the weekdays and stuff. So I think time management is probably the biggest challenge. Waking up at 4, going to bed at 8:30 p.m. is probably the hardest. In terms of, I think another challenge that maybe comes to mind is, I guess due to the nature of learning a language, the stuff you learn at the beginning, it's going to kind of slowly get pushed off the shelf, so to speak. So I think managing your time well in terms of revising old content, having good notes, which I'm not very good at, but my classmates seem to be amazing at apparently. I think that's something that's quite important. So I think challenge-wise would be time management is the biggest thing. Course-wise, the difficulty and pace seems really nice. It's not too slow. It's maybe a tiny bit more intensive than I'd anticipated. I like that. I'm glad that it is, because it's just enough. It's just intensive enough where if you really wanted to go the extra mile, you could do more self-study than's given to you. But if you do what is given to you, that is still going to be really good. Is what it feels like to me so far. So I guess time management and workload are quite challenging, but a nice level of challenging.
So you don't have any problems about the homework or preparation for lessons, reviews, etc.?
I think I'm not fantastic. Despite saying time management is really important, I'm not very good at time management. And I think the thing that I'm finding probably the hardest is that the lessons that I'm doing finish at 8:30 in the morning. And by then I've already been up since 4. So I don't really feel like doing homework, like the homework straight away or anything like that. So I kind of end up, I guess this would be the problem whenever you finish the lessons, but I kind of finish, I make breakfast, I'm like, okay, I'll relax for a couple of hours, and then before I know it, I have to have lunch, have dinner, and then like it's quite easy to let the day escape you, I guess is what I'm getting at. I think being kind of strict on when your free time is going to end and you're going to start doing your own stuff again, I think is quite difficult, because when you in a normal day, if it's 8 o'clock, you're like, oh cool, it's only 8 p.m. I've got loads of time in the day, I can go to bed at like 12ish or something. But in reality, at like 6 o'clock, you basically have to start thinking about maybe having dinner and then going to bed. So I think that even though I have more time in my day than I'm waking up early, I think not letting the day escape you is probably something that I'm kind of finding quite difficult in that sense. But I wouldn't say that's maybe me being lazy, probably. But no, I'm not having problems with the workload or anything like that much, because it's so easy to access. Like I was saying before, like it's so obvious. I can just go on iTunes U and just quickly look at everything I have to do. I can easily find. So if it's like I can look at the homework, click on the homework, and then if in that homework there's a grammar point I don't understand, I literally just click another button into the grammar points we've looked at and go through the slides of the lesson we looked at for that. So I think if it wasn't for the well-integrated technology, I'd maybe be struggling. And not to mention the teachers and classmates, obviously really helpful. There's just one text away, you just throw them a text, usually in disjointed Japanese, but it usually gets the point across, and they can help you with that. So yeah.
You told that you could communicate with your classmates online. How do you interact with them?
So on maybe the first or second day, I guess we have 2 group chats. We have one on iMessage, which is mainly used for sending out work and stuff with our teacher in it. So our teacher usually sends us the work on there in terms of like a reminder for homework. So like, don't forget, on Wednesday we have this, on Thursday for test preparation, or something along those lines. And then we also have a group chat online, as in the app Line, which is mainly used for chatting and questions we may have just for each other about work. Like, what do you think about this point? Do you think this is the right way to do it? And if we do resolve that, then that's good. If we don't, we just throw a message to our teacher or something instead. And it's also used, sadly I haven't been a part of this one, but it's also used for organising like outings that they've done. Like, I think it was Monday, they went out to a Korean restaurant in Shinjuku, and So they were sending recommendations to each other on there, and they were like, why don't we go to this, why don't we go to that? So I think the communication's really easy, and it doesn't feel like I'm not included, I guess, despite not doing the stuff. So I think I'm not struggling to keep in contact with them. I actually feel quite close to them like that. And there's lots of when you get here, we'll make up for lost time, we'll go for a drink, we'll all that sort of stuff. So I definitely feel close to them. I don't think I'm struggling to kind of make the bonds with them, it feels.
Okay, so what tips or message would you like to give to those who are thinking about taking the course online now?
I think time management is probably the biggest I'd mention, because I think it is just very easy to kind of get lost up in your day and kind of doing your own thing. Oh, I've been off since 4, I deserve a break. But I think time management is probably the biggest thing. I think another point maybe to mention is trying to push yourself in like your learning and like the language you're using in the essays and stuff, and also consuming more Japanese media. I think you're never going to have as much exposure to Japanese as your classmate, as anyone. I don't know if your class would be all online, but you're not going to trying to get as much exposure as possible to Japanese is always going to be a good thing. So I think in my case, at least, where I'm the only one online, I think trying to get as much Japanese around me as possible is probably something that I definitely suggest. I guess nothing other than the fact that I am really happy with how online learning is going. Because I did mention already that I was quite maybe not concerned. I wasn't convinced how good online learning would be, because I've never done it before, because I finished uni just as all this online learning was starting, like in university and stuff. So I've never really done it, and so I am really pleased that online learning is better than I thought it would be, and I'm actually enjoying it a lot. And there are also obviously quite a few benefits of online learning. I wake up 10 minutes before my lesson starts. So no, I think I would definitely recommend giving the online learning a shot.